Hello and welcome to One Stop Co-op Shop Streamed, your one stop for co-op news and playthroughs. And today we're playing through Skytear. I'm super excited about this one. This is a game I've been very excited about for a long time. I played it. This is the second iteration of the rules, the second iteration of the solo rules. And this time they've streamlined them a little bit. They've made it more versatile while being streamlined. So, and I know I did a rules video the first time around. Well, this is the second time around, and I am a lot better now. Hopefully, at least anyway. I was brand new when I first did the Skytear video, so I'm looking forward to doing an updated one. So, what is Skytear? Skytear is a MOBA, well, it's a board game based on a MOBA, which is a multiplayer online battle arena. Basically what you're doing is you control some heroes, and in this game you will be controlling 4 heroes. You'll be going up against the enemy heroes, which are over here. Our heroes are over here. You can kind of set them up anywhere on your half of the board over here. Well, not half of the board, on this kind of bottom row over here. Around your nexus and by your towers here. And because it is the solo mode, they get a little bit of a head start. They get to cheat a little bit, start a little bit further out on the board than you do. So what are we going to be doing in this game? Our goal is to fight over these control points here. There's going to be 3 of them, and what they are is these 2 on the outside. These are called lanes. You are trying to push towards your enemy towers and destroy their towers, and the one in the middle, you're fighting over this outsider, which is this giant piece over here. Now, who's going to be helping you are these little minions over here. So helping them are going to be these cute little wolves, and helping me are going to be these cute little like stone golem guys. Those are our minions. They don't do a lot of fighting or anything else, but they are going to help us out certainly throughout the course of the battle. So again, our goal is to push these lane markers or control markers toward the enemy towers so we can destroy them, and then eventually destroy their nexus. We have to destroy the tower first before we can start working on the nexus. And any of you have played these any of these type games, you'll kind of understand the basic principle of it. But I am super excited about it. One of the things I'm excited about is they now have pre-built decks on the online mod. Now this mod is put out by PvP Geeks, who are the ones who designed Skytear, and they put out a free mod for everybody to try. So this is not something that's haphazardly put together by random people. This is actually put together by them. And as you can see, not only do they have cool painted miniatures, they have health tokens over here. They of course have the character cards for all the characters, but they've also built like pre-constructed decks for your characters, which have a lot of their which have cards in them that kind of synergize with those heroes. And so a lot of times when you play this, it's a combination. You'll see it's like a board-based tactical game, but it's also combined with a like a collectible card game feel to it. And so building the decks yourself when you don't know anything about the game was always a barrier to entry in the past. And now they've not only do they have pre-constructed decks here, but also on their website as well. Either if you have the starter box, all the way to if you bought all the expansions for the game. But today we are specifically going to talk about the solo mode. So let's talk about, first of all, how you basically play a game of Skytear, because it's not going to change very much playing the solo mode as well. So normally it's a alternating activations, which means I'm going to activate one of my heroes over here, and then they're going to activate one of their heroes, and I'm going to activate one of mine, and so on and so forth. Again, our goal is to try to fight for control of these points to push them to the other person's side. The only way the players can win in the solo game is if they destroy the opponent's nexus. So they have to destroy either tower on either side and then destroy the nexus. The enemy wins if they just destroy either of your towers, or if they stall you for 5 turns. So if it gets to turn 5, at the end of turn 5, if you still haven't won, you lose the game and the enemy wins. So that's the basics. What do you do on your turn? Let's look at this card over here. All right, so here are actions. You can take up to 3 different actions on your turn, and this is it. And they all have to be different. So you can move. You move up to 3 hexes. Quite simply, you move 1, 2, 3. If you're using this character, they can move anywhere within 3 hexes. They can cross these white lines, no problem at all. This is what's called the dome in the middle. That's where you're going to fight over, again, who gets to control this outsider. But it does affect the line of sight through there, but it doesn't affect movement in any way. So the first of your 3 potential options is to move. Then you could skirmish, which is similar to a move and an attack at the same time. So it says you may choose a target hero. Now, target is a key word in this game. Target means a couple of things. Not only does it mean that they have to be within range of you, which in this game, again, range is always 3. So 3 is kind of a magical number here. They not only have to be in range of you, but they have to be in line of sight. So what does line of sight mean? It means it cannot cross a white line here. That is one of the things that would put them out of line of sight. So can't be outside the dome, targeting inside. And if they're in these little cover hexes here, you have to be adjacent to them, or somebody has to be adjacent. So this target could target this hero could target this hero if you have a friendly hero next to the target. So that's line of sight. It's pretty simple, within 3 hexes. So in order to target somebody, so anytime you see this word target, so see skirmish, it says you may choose target hero. So again, the hero has to be a target hero. It can't just be, any random hero on the board. So you can choose a target hero, move up to 2 hexes before or after the movement. If you are in attack range and line of sight to the target, deal a 0+ damage to the enemy hero. So what does 0+ mean? Well, a lot of things you do in the game are going to require you to flip cards. Now, there are several ways you could choose to do the decks here. You could have your own deck and the AI can have their own deck. I chose to just play out of the same deck. Now, if you're doing it this way, it's going to be a little swingier, and the reason for that is because they could get all the best, the cards with all the best pluses, and you could get the worst, or vice versa. So it's a little swingier playing out of the same deck, but I find it to be a lot easier, especially when you're playing in real life. So you could do it either way. You can either construct them a deck, and that also lets you vary the difficulty a little bit, making them better and worse decks, because they're not really using everything on every card. You'll notice on these cards, there's a lot of stuff on them. They're really only using the top left mana symbols up there and the top right attack modifiers. So what would that mean though? If I do a 0+ flip to attack somebody, if let's say I'm attacking this character over here, so I can move up to 2 spaces. So again, it has to be a target before I move, but I can move up to 2 spaces if I want. When you are moving, by the way, you can move through the minions. You cannot move through other heroes, whether friendly or enemy. So you move and then you flip. So what does flipping mean? It means you're going to draw the top card of your deck, put it in your discard pile, and I guess I'll flip this way. And you look at the upper right number. So if you see in this situation, it is a +3 in the upper right. That means I add 3 to my attack. Now, after we do that, that determines how much damage we do. So we've done 3 damage here. Then we look at Korjov over here, and we look at his armor, which he has 0 armor. So I do my attack of 3. Because of the flip, again, it's 0 plus whatever I flipped in the upper right corner. They can even be negatives. So I'm doing 3 damage. So again, Korjov has 14 life. If I did 3 damage, he'd be down to 11 life. And it's as simple as that. So that's how attacks are going to work. So that explained quite a couple of things there. So skirmish, remember, you have to be able to target the character before you start the skirmish. Then you can move up to 2 hexes. And before or after you move those 2 hexes, you could deal the damage. And then move and then deal the damage. So you can do a normal attack. The only difference between a normal attack and a skirmish is you'll notice you have an attack stat over here. Now these 2 characters are actually a pretty good example of how attacks can be different. This has a little sword there, which means it's a melee attack, which means you do have to be directly adjacent to the target. And it's 3 damage plus you flip a card. Same way we did over here, you're going to do over there. Then the other option would be a ranged attack. If it has a little bow and arrow, they just have to be within line of sight. So remember, line of sight is within 3 hexes, and you have to have line of sight. So they couldn't be hidden in this bush without a friendly next to them, and you can't shoot through dome walls either. So that is an attack. Oh, and this one, you see there's 2 flipped cards. It's good, but it's not as good as you think it is. You flip 2 cards and you pick the best one, or you pick whichever one you choose, I guess. So in this situation, I would have a +2 and I would have a +0. I could take the +2 for my damage. So you don't add those numbers together. You just pick whichever one you want. So the next would be attack. We talked about that. The next thing is lead. You can put a face down card either from your hand or from the top of your deck. If you're doing it from the top of your deck, you leave it horizontal. That way you remember you're not allowed to look at it later. If you're doing it from your hand, you'd flip it over and put it over your character, and you do it this way. You do it vertically, so that way you know later on you can look at it if you'd want to. So what does a lead do? Well, a lead, you look at the top left number. That is the mana. That is used for two things. Number one, if you want to do all this text on the bottom, you have to have mana enough to pay the mana cost for it. So if you want to cast this as a spell, then you would have to pay that mana, and you do whatever it says on the bottom. Playing a card is not one of those actions, by the way. You can do it in addition to whatever else you're doing on your turn. But why would you want to lead? Well, the way leading works is control over these tokens, which, remember, that's the goal. Control the tokens, move them toward the enemy tower and then nexus. Control of this is determined by how many characters you have in range, and this does not count line of sight, so you just have to be within 3 of the control token, but you can't cross a dome barrier. So if I'm here, I'm not controlling both 1, 2, 3 and 1, 2. I am only in the dome because I'm on the inside. So you count the number of characters. So in this situation, I would have 1, 2, 3 characters to their 1, 2. Oh, actually, they have 3 also because they have Korjef back here. All right, and then any cards you led. So let's say he led a card. I look at the mana symbols up top to determine what I'd add. So in this situation, there's 3 mana symbols, so I add 3 to my control. So they have 3, I have 3, so I win, or I'm sorry, I have 6 because I have 3 characters, plus the 3 from my card led. Now you can only use 1 card led, so similar to when you're attacking and you're flipping multiple cards, you only get to choose 1. Same with leading, you only get to choose 1 of the cards you led to actually contribute to this control of this control point. But that's basically what a lead is. You do it blindly from the deck. You don't know what's in there, but you could certainly build your deck in certain ways. Some people build decks to have that top right number be higher, so that way you're attacking and doing more damage more consistently. Some people build decks where their top left number is bigger, so they have more mana, so they can lead more, take control of points more. So those are multiple ways you can construct your deck, or you might want to do a lot of spells that work with that as well. So you might not be looking at either of those two things. You might be looking at the text on the bottom, and you might be doing things to get better results out of your spell casting, which is the bottom. I'm not going to go into spell casting now. I'm going to go into it as I'm playing the game, but it's pretty intuitive as well. You do that in addition to your 3 actions. So lead is the 4th possible action. The 5th one is called worshiping, and every faction, there are 4 factions in the game, have a different worship ability. So I'm not going to go over all the factions and what they do, but I'm going to talk about the faction that I am using, which is Talit, I believe. They worship, when they worship, they put pillars on the battlefield. So the way it works is optional. Remove a friendly pillar to trigger the skill with the worship icon text next to it. So if you look on the bottom here, I have 3 numbers. Again, I have my attack, I have my life, and I have my armor. Right above that, there's that little white swirly symbol. That tells me what happens when I remove pillars. It says deal 1 damage plus a flip to an enemy minion adjacent to the removed pillar. So I would have to have a pillar on the board before I could do that, but I could do damage to the enemy minions and help take them off. Why would I take the minions off? Remember, that's part of the control, right? The less minions they have, the less value they have toward controlling each of these lanes here. So removing minions is actually quite valuable for taking control of a lane. So that is one option, or that is one thing I do. Again, this is very specific to this faction. The next thing is I place a friendly pillar anywhere within 3 hexes. Again, doesn't have to be within line of sight, but it does have to be clear, which means no miniatures or tokens, including minions. So I place any place within 3, and again, that could cross dome barriers and things like that. That's not line of sight. You don't have to target it. And then, while heroes within 3 hexes of a friendly pillar, their skills with the pillar are active. So again, let's look at this character. We looked at the white swirly icon. Right above that is something that looks like one of our pillars, and that says Massive Blow. When Zakol damages an enemy hero with an attack action, he may push the enemy 1 hex. So if he is within 3 of one of his pillars, then he gets to do that. While the heroes within 3 hexes of a friendly pillar, their skills with the pillar symbol are active. And again, it doesn't say target or line of sight or anything else, so I believe I can do that even on the other side of the dome wall. So Aman, welcome. He says, I just watched your previous Skytear playthrough 2 days ago. Thank you, Aman. Been obsessed with this game recently. Well, let me tell you, that my other video, and I might be taking it down soon because it's old rules and they're outdated at this point. So I'm thinking about at least making it private, if not completely taking it down, because that's not the way the solo game's played anymore. I'm going through, and you'll see today how the new solo game and the new solo rules literally just came out today. I've played a couple of games of it only, so I'm still fairly new to the game myself, and I'm new to the solo rules because they literally just came out. So if anybody catches any mistakes, please let me know, or I will put them in the show notes. Usually I'll do Klingon subtitles where there are known mistakes in the videos, and that way you can catch any mistakes. So go ahead and turn those on. This is a live play and it's a very new system, so yeah, turn those on and you'll catch anything any mistakes I've made. All right, so we have 5 different choices of actions. We're going to do 3 of those. The game is not that complicated. You'll see as we get going. So how does magic work? Magic works this way. You have 5 rounds in the game. Each round you have mana equal to the round number. So in round 1, you get 1 magic for each of your characters. So we're going to look in here, and basically that means these 3 spells over here, the 3 with the 1 magic symbol in the upper left, couldn't do this one, right? 2 magic symbols in the upper left. These 3 we can use on this first turn. Now you notice 2 of them are green, which match my faction. The other one's blue. Not all my characters can use blue spells. In fact, these 3 characters can't. Because if you look at the top, it tells you exactly what type of magic they can use. This character, though, can use both blue and green. So the only one that can use this blue spell is this character here. What does it say? Heal target hero 3 hit points. Now remember, the word target's in there, so they'd have to be within 3, and that includes himself. So you could put it right here. To play a spell, you just leave it face up here, and then you can see how much mana you've spent. You know it's round 1, you spent 1. There are 2 different symbols. There's this swirly symbol here, which means it can be played on either player's turn, yours or your opponent. So after they attack you, you can declare this heal, and it works kind of like magic. It does an inverse stack, so the damage, they wouldn't attack you till after your healing went off, which is kind of neat. Or some of these cards might have a single arrow like this one. So you notice the difference in the middle, very middle of the card. Swirly arrows, reactive. This is an action, only can be played on your turn. And so that gives you abilities that you can do on your turn. But again, that one costs 3 mana. You can't play it until at least round 3. But let's say you're in round 2, you could easily play 2 of these 1-cost things, or you could play a 2-cost spell. So you just put them in front of you again to track how much mana they've used. You put it right below the character that you're using to activate. And that's it. That is most of how the game works. Amin says he just tried the solo rules yesterday. Yeah, they sent out the post today, so I didn't catch it till today. But yeah, I did notice that some people were playing yesterday, so that's pretty cool that they put it in yesterday. All right, well, let's go ahead and get started here, and I'm going to start with this character. And honestly, I've never played with this character, so I want to see what their 2 abilities are real quickly. Heal a friendly hero adjacent to the remove pillar. Well, that seems good. Or during the hero's phase, when a friendly minion adjacent to a pillar would lose hit points, I can prevent the hit point loss, and I lose that many hit points instead. Oh, so if I have a pillar next to a minion, wait, do I have to be in range of that? During this phase, when a friendly minion adjacent to a pillar, any pillar, would lose hit points. I don't think I have to be adjacent to that myself. While heroes are within 3 of a friendly pillar, their skills with the pillar, that pillar. Okay, so yes, only with that pillar. So yeah, but if I dropped a pillar here, I would protect my 2 minions here if they decided to attack them and try to get rid of them. So that seems pretty good. So I think I might do that first turn. So I'm going to activate. I'm not great with the names over here. What do you guys think? Talakali? I'm not going to try to pronounce names anymore. All right, I'm going to go up here. So that's my first action, is a move action. My second action is going to be that worship action, which remember is putting a pillar down. Now, I can't do the first part of that worship action, the bottom part with the white swirly, because I don't have any pillars to remove yet. So until I have pillars on the battlefield, the bottom power doesn't do anything. But right now, I do have the top one. So during the hero's phase, when a friendly minion adjacent to the pillar would lose hit points, I can prevent the loss and take that much damage myself instead. Alright, so that was my second action. My third action is going to be an attack. I'm going to attack one of these minions. Our goal is to get rid of, or again, to push these pillars forward. To do that, you need to get rid of these enemy minions because, again, that's less control they have over that area. So I'm going to attack one of these right here. Now, how does the AI work? Or there's a couple things with attack. Number one, if you look at skirmish, it says before or after the movement in an attack range and line of sight with the target. So again, if you're a ranged character, you can attack at range. If you're a melee character, you attack at melee. But it says no minions here. The only way to destroy minions is an attack or by playing a spell. Let's actually see. Get +2 armor. Stone Barricade. Place a pillar in target adjacent hex that does not contain a token or miniature. This pillar is a blocking element. Oh, so you can place a pillar down next to you when they say they want to skirmish you or whatever else, and they won't be able to walk through it. That's kind of neat. Excuse me. All right, so those are some of my abilities. They're all very defense. Heal, gain armor, or put a pillar down that blocks their movement. So I'm not going to play any of those right now because it's an attack. I'm going to attack this minion right here. Now, the way the AI works is that triggers one of these that is within range 3 of it to activate. Now, if you notice in the top left corner, we've got that little, looks like a back of a Skytear card over there. And you'll notice we have the faces of all the enemies that we're fighting against. So I'm going to go ahead and pick, I get to pick which one activates in this situation. I'm going to go ahead and pick, let me go back to see what their name is, Akuti. So I'm going to pick Akuti to activate because she's not in the dome. So I click on her picture and it flips up her card. And I don't know if you can read it. It might be pretty small on the screen. But basically, if you look at the bottom, there's a reaction there. And that is only when you attack, you flip over a card to see what the reaction is. It says attacking hero cannot damage the target unless they are adjacent. Well, let's look. Am I adjacent to that target? I am not adjacent. I am couple hexes away, so I literally do 0 damage. My attack did nothing. That is one of the cool parts about Skytear, is when playing cards and stuff like that, you can affect actions. If I had a card that let me move, for example, then I might be able to move using an action or something like that to kind of counteract what they're trying to do. But so that was that. That was my 3 actions. I moved, I did a worship action to put down a pillar, and I tried to attack here, but it didn't work. Now, because we flipped Akuti's card for the reaction, we're just going to activate her right now. That's exactly how it's supposed to work. So her card's already flipped up. Well, actually, I guess I should say I exhausted my character to show that they've gone. And once all 4 characters are gone, that's the end of the round. Then we move on to the next round. But they're going to do the same thing. So we're on Akuti. First thing it says is at the very top of the card, it's called Guide. It says preferred focus closest lane. So she is going to go toward the closest lane, not the dome, but the lanes. So the outside lanes. This is clearly the closest lane that she is. And when they move toward the closest lane, they're going to try to get as close as possible to the middle. In fact, they have this cool little chart over here that tells you if their focus is a lane, this is what they try to do. They try to move as close as possible to the control token. And then they even give you priorities. They want to be in range and line of sight of the focus. They want to be poisoned to best use their ability. If they're pushing, they want to push you out of the control area, within range of the closest control token, and in a cover hex if possible. So they tell you their priorities. So first thing, she's going to move toward her focus. I'm sorry, I say she, but it's a he. So he's going to move toward his focus. Badink. He's as close as he can get now. He's adjacent. Alright, next thing he is going to do is attack the closest enemy minion. So he is going to attack one of these minions. Now, when he attacks the same way as us. He has a 2+ attack right now, and then we flip a card. Before we flip, though, I think you have to do this before. I have to decide if I want to use my pillar action to take this damage myself. And sure, why not? I don't know that this is a great idea, but I'm going to do it anyway. So I'm taking 2 damage plus, oh, a -1. If you look in the upper right, it's a -1. So that's actually only 1 damage. That I feel much better about. So I find the picture of my character. Where is she? There you go. Or, I keep saying she. Is this one a she? Yeah, I think so. Yep. So that attacked the closest minion. Now we go to the next step. Special spawn a minion. Oh, that's great. So they are spawning another minion to help them again control this point. Oops, that's one of my minions. I would love if they spawn one of mine, but that is not how it's going to work. They're going to spawn one of their own. And let's see. Then they're going to lead. So they always lead blindly. So we'll just take a card, put it above her, and remember that will affect her control over that area. And then the last thing she is going to, or he is going to do is special. Move the control token closest to the AI towers 2 hexes towards the player's towers. Now, there is none that are closest to the AI towers. So my understanding is that we're going to ignore this because there is none that are closest to the AI towers. I guess we could pick which one we'd want to do, or just do it the one she's closest to. Actually, maybe that's what you're supposed to do, because they do have fallback options for all of these, and it's usually like if you can't get to the target, the fallback is the closest one a lot of times. So in this situation, I'm not really sure, but we'll go ahead and move this 2 closer. Why not? 1, 2 closer to my base, which I don't love, because before it wasn't in range of hurting my tower, but it is now. So and all of his things are still within 3 spaces of it, so that doesn't help me either. All right, and that's Akuti's activation. So as you can see, really quick, really easy to do the enemy, and I'm switching back and forth, by the way. I can't see this as easily as you guys can, so you can tell it's even easier because yeah, it's definitely some work to get to those characters for me. Anyway, all right, we're going to do the same thing over here. We're going to move 1, 2, 3, get right down in the middle. Beast mode. We are going to put down a pillar. Now, before I do that, let's see what my options are for him. So I could collapse. Deal 1+ damage to an enemy minion adjacent to the removed pillar. And I don't think the pillar has to be in line of sight. Optional. Remove 1 friendly pillar. Yeah, it could be anywhere. So 1+ damage to an enemy minion adjacent to the removed pillar. So if I wanted, I could remove this pillar right now to do a damage to one of these. And you know what? I am going to do that. I'm going to do that. And it's 1 plus a flip. It's always plus a flip, which is a +1, which is 2 damage. These minions only have 1 life each. So that's it for that wolf over there. And I am done. Well, I am done with my second thing. So that was my worship action. So first I removed the pillar, did the damage over there. Second, I placed my pillar. And then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to attack over here again. Now again, we have 2 choices within range. I'm going to pick Korjov because Korjov's already in the same lane. So all we do is we go to here, we click on Korjov, and because it's an attack, we read the reaction. The target of the attack cannot be damaged by this activation. That is twice now. I promise you, they are not all mess up the player who's trying to take their activation. But that was twice in a row that stopped us from doing damage to the minion. All right, so that is it for him. He is done, and now we're going to go on to Korjov, because again, if you activate somebody during the turn, then they just take their turn next. Preferred focused, most wounded enemy hero. Most wounded actually doesn't mean that. It means the least life available. So in this situation, there are 2, but they have to be within range. If they're not within range, then you read this fallback table over here, again, when focused on a hero. If yes, move to the hero. If not, move toward the closest hero. So their fallback is going to be the closest hero. And then if there's no other heroes, they're actually going to go for the minions. So let's see. So they are targeting the most wounded. There are 2 of them. Place Korjov adjacent to his focus. Well, he can definitely get adjacent to him, because let's see. Can the hero get line of sight to the attack and range to the attack focus? Well, they can if they just teleport. So we have a choice of 2 of these, but Korjov wants to stay in their lane. He tries to stay as close as possible. Oh, that's right. Actually, he wants to be as close as possible to the middle. He is a ranged attack if we look at Korjov. So he would go here because that puts him in cover, gets him close to the middle, and still within range and line of sight of their target. Now, wait a minute, though, because I think that card told me to move me adjacent to them. Place Korjov adjacent to his focus, so never mind. He's still going to try to follow as many of those rules as possible, so he'll be over here because he's close to the cover, kind of close to the middle. All right, so we did that part. Attack his focus. If he damages the hero, apply disarm to them. There are 4 conditions in the game. Disarm is one of them, but I'll show you how that works in a second. All right, so Korjov is attacks for 3. We are going to do a flip. The flip is +2. Oh my, so that's 5 damage to Akla over here. So let's look at Akla. Akla does not have any armor, so that's just 5 damage. 15 to 10. Boom, 1 hit and disarmed. So what does disarmed mean? Whenever you get a status, there are only 4, like I said. You put it on the card. There is a quick reference card for this too. So disarm. The affected hero gets -2 attack and skirmish damage. Not great. Not going to do a whole lot of damage with Akla, even though Akla is basically our damager. 3+ on the attack with 2 flips, meaning you get the better of the 2. Yeah. Typically, Akla likes to be doing the damaging, not taking the damaging. Oh, now actually, before I took damage, I could do this. I could have done this. Let's show how spells work. I do this, and I get +2 to my armor. Now, in this situation, it's a terrible idea, and I'll tell you why. I'm not going to do that. But because spellcasters, so every class has their own special thing. Spellcasters are the only one with really I say they all have a special thing. They all have kind of a focus, but spellcasters over here are the only ones. They ignore all armor in the game. So that would be very stupid of me to do a card that gives me +2 armor. It would have reduced 2 damage, but except against spellcasters. I could have placed a pillar next to me, but that wouldn't have done anything. So, yep, I'm just going to take that 5 damage and get disarmed. Let's see what their next thing is. So, move toward the closest dome's control token and then lead. So, they're going to move toward the control token, 1, 2, 3, and then they're going to lead. Again, taking a card from the deck, putting above them. Not looking too good for the good guys right now. Man. All right. So, you know what? I'm going to activate Akla and move up to this bush over here. I'm going to lead this time, so I'm not going to put down more pillars. I'm going to lead. I'm going to lead a card from my hand. So which am I less likely to use when it comes up? So this spell, I can't use it again until turn 3. Unstoppable. Apply Frenzy and Fast to the caster. So Frenzy is the exact opposite of Disarm. If we look, conditions, Frenzy. The affected hero has +2 attack and +2 skirmish. That seems really good. So this one is Topple. Additional cost, remove a pillar from the battlefield. Enemy hero adjacent to the removed pillar is pushed 1 hex away from that pillar. Apply slow to the hero. That's good, but you know what? I'd rather have it as a lead. Now, normally I do this face down, but there's no reason to do it face down in this situation because we're playing against an AI, not against a person. But maybe I will do it face down just so you see how it's supposed to look. Okay, so my second action was to lead, then I'm going to attack. I'm going to attack this one over here again. Now, nobody is within 3, so they don't get to use that reaction. So I don't use Golbjorn's reaction in this situation, again, because he's not within 3 of the minion. So if you can remember that magic number 3, most of the stuff in this game is easy. Now, normally I would attack for 3, but again, because I am disarmed, I attack for only 1. But I do get to flip 2 cards, so +1 and +1, so I just take one of those +1s. So it's 3 minus 2 is 1, +1 damage is 2 total damage. That is more than enough, 1 more than enough. To defeat it. Normally you only need 1 damage. So that's done. So Akla is done. Exhausted. Whenever you exhaust the character, all of their tokens come off of them. So Akla is no longer disarmed. Alrighty. Now, when we go to activate, because we didn't activate anybody for a reaction during Akla's turn, we choose the closest unactivated enemy hero. So in this case, it would be Golbjorn. Alrighty, so we click on the Golbjorn in the app. Alright, so preferred focus, closest enemy with a lead. He moves toward the focus. He attacks his focus. Alright, so is he in range to get to Akla? 1, 2, 3. No, can't get there. So again, we use that fallback option. When you're supposed to attack a hero, you can't move toward that hero. You move toward the closest hero instead. Resolve attacks against the target if possible, which it won't be, or the fallback to the closest hero. So again, the fallback option here, not going to get to Akla. The only one on my team that has a lead card right now. So he's just going to fall back to the closest one. And again, he wants to be closest to this first. Second option would be in cover. That's later down the priority list. And again, all that's on the bottom. So in range and line of sight, this is a melee character, so it has to be adjacent, positioned to best use their ability, and within range of the closest control token, and then in a cover hex would be the last option. Of course, if they could do more than one of those, that's what they would prefer. All right, so moved, attack his focus. If he damages the enemy hero, push the hero 1 hex away from Golbjorn for each damage dealt. All right, so away doesn't mean directly away. It just means further with every space. So I could go 1, 2, 3 if attacks that way. Let's see if Zakol has any adjacent. No. Okay, but we are going to use that armor spell right now. So target gains 2 armor. So again, it's only 1 mana for this. We're round 1, so we get 1 mana. He can cast red or green spells. It is a green spell, so we are all good. I get +2 armor for my character. So, Golbjorn's going to attack. Golbjorn attacks at 3+, and 3+ flip. So let's see what that is. 3 + 1 would be 4 total damage, but I have 1 armor innately, 2 more for the spell, so 3 armor. Golbjorn did 4 damage, so I only take 1 damage. So that means he does get to push me 1 space away. But luckily for me, that is not outside of range of this control token here. So still fighting for control there. Let's keep seeing. Move toward the closest dome control token. Oh man, they really want the dome this game. And then lead. All right, 1, can't move through heroes. 2, 3, we'll do that. Well, we'll keep him on his half of the board. He doesn't want to get attacked. All right, so that's 3, and he is going to lead. Now again, you don't get to use both of these lead cards because they're both helping to control the dome. You just take the higher of the 2. All right, so I have 1 last character to activate. So do they. I'm within range, kind of. Don't have any pillar over there, so I only have 1 pillar. So the reason I'm thinking so hard is Kotlik's special is he has +1 if he's within range of a pillar, which is great, but he can remove pillars, any number of friendly pillars. He gets +1 skirmish damage for each pillar he removes. So Kotlik can really do some damage and build it up. I'm not going to do that portion because I can only remove 1, so I'd rather attack. So I'm going to just move up with Kotlik. Kotlik is going to worship, but he's not going to remove anything from the board, but he will add 1. He'll actually put it in the bushes over here, so they have a harder time getting line of sight to it. And then I get +1 armor, by the way, also Kotlik does, if you look at the top ability, when I'm within range of a pillar. So I got that going for me. Within 3 hexes, you don't have to have line of sight, so I still get that bonus. So I've done 2 actions. I think I'm gonna lead, because I don't think they're leading. Oh, they are leading in this lane. They're leading, and right now I've got an extra character because they've got Habarat, who's still in here. But I'm gonna lead. Do I lead from the top of the deck and just take a chance, or do I use this really good unstoppable card? I could use this. Additional cost for move an adjacent pillar. Deal 2 damage to all enemies adjacent to the pillar. Nah, I'm going to keep that because that's a good way to clear a bunch of minions. So I'm just going to lead from the top of the deck for Kotlik over here. And that would be their 3rd action. So that's exhausted. They only have 1 left to go. I didn't attack anything, so they didn't get to activate that reaction. So, but it's still going to be that 1 last character. Habarat is going to go now. Oops. All right. Habarat's nasty. Does a ton of damage. Preferred focus. Most wounded enemy hero. So again, that would be most wounded within range. So let's see. 1, 2, 3. Yes, he can get over here. Can't get to the Akla, who is my actual most wounded character. But oh, when they can't get to the most wounded character, they do the fallback option. So they're going to fall back to the closest, which is Kotlik. So actually, Kotlik's saving me a little bit over here, although Kotlik doesn't want to get punched in the face either. All right, so Habarat's going to move out here. Habarat is going to... oh, I'm sorry. Maybe that's not what he does. Special. This activation, when Habarat damages enemy, it gets +1 attack. So first thing, move towards his focus and deal 1 damage to all adjacent enemies. Alright, so he moved toward me and does 1 to all adjacent enemies. Now, he still damages me, but then I look at my armor to see if my armor absorbs that damage. And Kotlik has 1 armor, plus he gets +1 armor for being in range of this. So I actually have 2 armor. I block it no problem, but Habarat still did the damage. And, excuse me, in doing the damage, he has now increased his attack by 1 for the round. Alright, and then it says move toward the closest enemy minion and deal 1 damage to all adjacent minions. Well, this is not great. So 1, 2, 3 puts him in range of the minion, and then he's going to do 1 to all adjacent things. That's not great at all. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4 things that he is doing damage to. Oh, and my pillar. 5 things. So he's going to damage all 5 of these things. I surely set this up, so hold on. Before that happens, I'm not going to let that happen. I'm going to go ahead and use my pillar, because that would have been awful. I mean, truly, truly awful. Yeah, because that would have been +5 damage on his next attack. So, and this is one of the cool parts of the game, you get to do reactions, stuff like this. So I'm going to have Kotlik do this because he can't do the healing one. So I'm going to have him cast this spell over here. So, it's Stone Barricade. Place a pillar in a target adjacent hex that does not contain a token or miniature. The pillar is a blocking element, so they're not going to be able to walk into the space with the pillar. So I'm going to put that right here. This pillar is not blocking, but this one is. And again, it's just for this one activation. So he declared he was going to move. I am allowed to interrupt their activations. Anytime between any of their activations, I can interrupt. So I am interrupting right now to place that pillar there. And now Habarat can't move there and do anything. So what's his fallback option? He's going to choose to go after a hero instead. Now he's still going to try to hit the most number of things possible. So he's still going to hit 3. So Kotlik's going to take 1, but again, his armor blocks it. Pillar takes 1, doesn't have armor, and he does not have armor either, I don't think. I mean, she. Sorry. Talakali doesn't look like... Oh, yes, does have armor. Never mind. I lied. So, 1 armor blocks, but that's still 3 damage done. So, right now, Habarat's done 4 damage for the turn. Then he's going to move toward his focus. Well, his focus doesn't change, so he's going to still move, and then he attacks his focus. Now, he does still want to get as close as possible to this, which he's standing on, so he's actually in a perfect spot. So now he's going to attack. So, normally, Habarat attacks for 4 and 2 flips. But, because this card is so generous, he doesn't attack for 4. He attacks for 4 plus however much damage he ping this turn, which is another 4. So 8 damage to start. And then flips 2 cards and takes the best. So you know what's not the best? That for us. Or for Kotlik, I should say. So 8 plus 0 or 8 plus 3. Awesome. So that's 8 plus 3. That is 11 damage. Now Kotlik does have 2 armor still. So that's only going to be 9, but still going from 18 to 9, 1 attack does not feel great. Now, I still have my healer over here. It is a reaction, so I'm going to heal target hero for 3 hit points. So Kotlik's going to go back up 3 hit points because I'm going to use that healing action now. And that's it. We've all activated. So that's 1 of the 5 rounds of the game. It's as simple as that. We're going to go faster as we go along, obviously. But this is going to take a second also. We're going to do... So after we do the hero actions, then we do the minion phase, then we do end of turn. So this takes a little while, but a long while at the same time. Check control tokens from lowest to highest. So this is control token 1. We're going to look at control token 1 first. This is control token 2, that's 2, then we do 3. So if it's in the lane, the winner applies the damage and draws 1 card. All right, so let's look in this lane. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 to their 0. We also, I believe I led in that lane. Yes, I led over here. I led 3 more. So I have not just 4, but I have 7 in this lane to their 1. So I win by 6. So I do 6 points of damage. Don't really do 6 points of damage because they only have 1 point of damage of things in range. It would not do it to the heroes. It only does it to minions. And then if it's within 3 of the tower, it would have also done it to the tower. Would have been awesome for next turn, but it wasn't because it was this turn. All right. Then I get to draw a card also. So that's how you draw cards in the game, by the way. Defeating heroes, winning control points. You don't just get cards willy-nilly. Actually, you do at the end of the turn. But so I'm drawing a new card. I got another card in my hand. And so I did that. So I won control of that lane. I applied damage to do that. Then winner advances a control token by the number, the difference between them. So I only need to move it 3. 1, 2, 3. I guess I could theoretically move it 4. I don't know if that's legal or not. I think you have to stop when you're within range of the token. I'm going to stop there. If I could move it 4, I certainly would. Because again, their nexus is this whole back area here. So that way I could not only hurt this. Well, actually I am within 3 of the nexus. So if I destroy the tower, I think I can start hurting the nexus at the same activation. Which is kind of cool. So, but it would have gone up to 6 spaces away. It's not 6 minus however many minions or damage I did. It's just it can move 6. The difference between our 2 scores. Now, if any of my minions had now become out of range, I could put them within range 3 of this control point, and then I get to put 2 minions down here as close as possible. So that's 1, and then I get to choose the next space anywhere I want. Let's do here just to stay out of my way, and then they put down 2 as well. Again, the first one's got to be on it because as close as possible. And they'll choose the same hex as mine because they don't want me to easily be able to get to that minion. So that is 1 control point. Let's look at the next control point. This is not going to go as well for me. Well, maybe it is because I have 2 here within range. They also have 2 within range. We have 2 minions each, so that's all a wash. So I'm not even going to count that up. That's just a wash. Let's look at, I did lead with Kotlik. So let's see how well that went. All right, 2. So I am +2 toward controlling this right now. Now let's see if they led with any of their characters. Both of their yellow characters are in range. They did. They led with Akudi. So let's see what they got. They only got 1. Excuse me. So I won by 1 because we have equal number of characters, and I had 1 more on my lead card. So we do damage first. So I remove 1, my choice. Actually, I'm going to remove this one because it seems like a more pain in the butt location. And then this moves 1 toward their tower. Now it's still not out of danger range of mine, but at least I got a little bit of a lane advantage there. I got an extra kill on one of their minions, and anybody who's played a MOBA knows that is super important. So I'm going to put my 2 down first, and I can put them on these pillars. These pillars aren't allowed to be placed on enemy or on minion spaces, but minions can be placed on their space. So I'll do that. That actually also protects that minion a little bit because they're in cover. I don't know how much they go after minions from range, but helps a little bit. They're going to do the same thing. They're going to use that. So that is control of that lane. Because I won, I also get to draw a card. Sweet. Because hand management's important. All right. So Dome. We're not even going to spend a lot of time with this. So that's if you win the lanes. This is how you do the lanes. You just saw 2 of the lanes. Now we look at Dome. The winner draws a card and places the outsider and activates it by spending 3 action points. So this big guy outsider gets to activate, and then we're not going to look at this card too much. We're just going to look at what the AI says in the solo game. But in the normal game, they would get to place the outsider and do kind of what it says. And there are different outsiders in the game. This is the one that comes in the base game, though. All right, so let's see what the outsider does, and then I'll get back to the end of turn stuff. The rest of it's super fast and easy. So we're going to do the same thing. We're going to click on the outsider picture, which is in that top row. I don't know if you guys can see my arrow, but it's in that top row all the way to the right is the outsider. So if you notice reaction, it says this guy's too slow to react. So he will never react to you attacking minions or anything else, or even attacking him. Preferred focused, most armored enemy hero. Well, we know who that is. That is Sir Kotlik over here, who has 2 armor. So he is probably going to spawn in somewhere over here, if I had to guess. All right, so special, place the outsider within 3 of his focus and as many enemies as possible. Well, this is within 3 of as many enemies as possible, for sure. Oh, sorry, let me turn this stuff off. All right, so within 3 of as many enemies as possible, because we got me, we got all these minions over here, we got all my characters all hiding in this one corner. Outsider gains piercing. I'm assuming that's supposed to be a little typo there. Attack is focus and attack is focus again. So he's attacking my most armored character and getting piercing, which means he's ignoring my 2 armor. And then he's going to attack twice for 3 damage plus a flip. So first one is 3 plus 0. Second one is 3 plus 1, which is 4, for a total of 7 damage. So Kotlik at 12 is down to 5. This is not going well for Kotlik. They are really taking him down. Now, I did win 2 lanes. They won the dome. So, I don't know. I kind of feel like I'm doing okay, even though they're, you know... Oh, I didn't mention. I'm playing on the easiest mode possible. There are ways to make the game harder, but I'll explain that at the end. But anyway, so that was competing over the domes. End of turn. Discard all power cards from the hero cards. All right, so that means all spells that you use this turn and all cards you used on top. So you start fresh in the next round. All right, so you start fresh in the next round. You with full mana again. All right, and then we will do the same for the enemy AI. We never bothered flipping those cards because it just didn't matter. I had nobody inside the dome with them. So yeah, that was not useful for them to have led there. All right, so that is the first thing. Draw 2 new cards. Badink, badink. And then discard cards until you have less than 7 power cards. Wait a minute. I think that's a misprint. It's supposed to be less than 8 power cards, I'm pretty sure. I think it's supposed to be 7 or less, so I'm pretty sure that is a misprint also. Because at least the version I have says 8. But either way, I have 6, so I'm not over 7 or 8. And then ready all exhausted heroes and increase the Skytear token. Respawn heroes if needed. And we'll go over that because it looks like we're going to have a dead hero any minute now. So that's it. Super simple AI between turn stuff. All right, so back to our turn. What do we want to do first? Well, we're going to focus on our win condition over here, winning this. But I don't know that that's the first thing I need to do. I think Kotlik might need to activate because Kotlik is not long for this world, it looks like. Now, Akuti is their healer and doesn't have the least life but has less life. Habarat is a damage dealer that has 2 more life, but really, as we've seen, can put the hurt on. So which of these 2 do I want to focus on this turn? Well, let's see what spells I have. Because now I can look at my 2-cost spells. Oops, I forgot to move the round marker up. So that's round 2. That also means we have 2 mana. So let's see what I have. Additional cost to remove an adjacent pillar. Deal 2 damage to all enemies adjacent to remove pillar. Ooh. Ooh. So I can remove this pillar and get rid of these 2 minions. That's good, not great. It's pretty good, though. If I add another pillar in, but it's got to be in blank space is the problem. This pillar is kind of in an ideal spot. All right, so that's one option. Crawling Darkness. Apply Disarm and Slow to target enemy hero. That wouldn't be too bad to disarm and slow Habarat for sure. The caster gets +1 skirmish damage for each friendly minion in line of sight. Oh my gosh. So Kotlik can get extra skirmish damage for 1, 2, 3 minions. This one, oh, this is in line of sight because I have an ally next to my minion. So +4 skirmish damage? All right. That's what we're doing. Uh, so I'm going to do a couple things here. So first thing Kotlik's going to do is worship. So remember, worship action is to place pillars down, well, at least for this faction. I am going to remove 2 pillars from the map, though. I know this pillar is good for destroying some enemy minions, but I'm getting rid of it, and you'll see why in a minute. And I'm getting rid of this one. For Kotlik's power, I believe you could use it no matter how far away they are. So what his is, may remove any number of friendly pillars. He gets +1 skirmish damage for each pillar removed in this fashion. So he got +2 skirmish damage. Now I get to place a pillar. Let's go ahead and place it. I'm going to place it here because that'll help me with my armor and all that stuff. And I still may, actually I'm going to place it here because that'll maybe blow up a couple of these. So I'm going to attack Akuti because Akuti is the healer of the group. Yeah, this is a reaction, so I can do that on their turn. Then, but this is not. This is an action. Oh no, this one. Lord of the Many. The caster gets +1 skirmish damage for each friendly minion in their line of sight. Yes, please. So I have 4 friendly minions. So that's +4 to my skirmish damage, which is, if you remember, normally a 0+ flip if you look under skirmish. So I'm 4 damage +2 because I removed 2 pillars, because if you look at his Kotlik's Strength of the King, Kotlik may remove any number of pillars. He gets +1 skirmish damage for each pillar removed. I removed 2 if you remember. So that's +4, +5, +6 total plus for my skirmish. So it's a 6+ flip, not a 0+ flip. And I am going to attack Akuti over here. So let's flip the card, and it's +3. Boom, boom, boom. Let me hear you say way-oh. So 6 + 3 is 9. All right, Akuti, you thought that was fun to hit me? Now how fun do you think it is? Now, I am not done yet. That was literally, oh no, I worship first. Then I did my skirmish. Now I can move 2 if I want to, but I don't. I'm going to stay right here. I have no fear. I am going to attack Akuti again. Just a normal attack. So Kotlik's now normal attack is 3 plus a flip. Unfortunately, there are no 4 flips in here. So I'm not going to... Oh! Yes. I am going to have to do a reaction for them as well. So, but I am going to do a 3 plus flip. So before I do that, though, I take her because she is the target. And I look at the reaction. Attacking hero gains disarm. Now, I think that happens first, which kind of stinks. So I'm -2 to my attack damage. But at least it wasn't earlier where I was disarmed for literally my skirmish as well. So I'm only 1, because that's normally 3 attack. -2 is 1. Plus whatever I get on my flip, that's +2. So 2 plus 1 is 3. I'm not going to complain. No crying over spilled milk here. Now, because my activation is over, I exhaust myself and I remove all, what are these things called? Conditions from myself. And that includes positive conditions as well. So if you look at the other factions, yellow, the yellow faction, what they do is they have like shadows of themselves that go around the board and work very similar to my pillars, where you have to be within a certain range of them and you do certain things, things like that. Now, again, if you're looking at the AI, they're on their simple side. On their other side, they do have all this more complicated stuff. So that's their worship action. Red faction's worship action is to mark their enemies. So they actually put targets on your characters. But again, once you exhaust, they go away. But what those marked characters do is something very similar. It says if attacking a marked character or whatever else, or if within certain spaces of a marked character. And what the blue faction does is it shapeshifts. It can shapeshift themselves, or I think anybody within 3 as well. But they shapeshift. They put the condition on their own character card. And when they do so, their character card will say, while shapeshifted, do whatever. Or do whatever for however many shapeshifted characters. Or if within 3 of a shapeshifted character, get this bonus. Or every character who shapeshifted within 3 of this character gets whatever. So they're a little tricky. Because if they put it on themselves with the worship action, at the end of their turn they exhaust and it just goes right away. Now, if they're worship actions that are last action, it would stay on. But if they use it for either of the first 2 actions to get the benefit of it during their turn, it goes away. But they can also just do it to each other, put shapeshift on each other. All right. So, again, I worshipped, I skirmished, then I attacked. So I'm done my 3 activations. we are going to go to Akuti over here. I exhausted, got rid of my conditions. Right. All right, Akuti. So focused on the closest lane. Well, all right. So she moves toward her focus. Deal 2 damage to each enemy hero within 3 hexes of Akuti and move them 1 hex away from the closest control token. All right. She's going to move as close as possible. That's actually as close as she can get. Yep. And then she's going to do damage to, what is it again? 2 damage to each enemy hero within 3 hexes and move them 1 hex away from the control token. All right. So 1 away, and 2 damage each. I've got Kotlik's got 2 armor, so he's fine. That 2 damage doesn't get through. She has 1 armor, so she's going to take 1 of those 2 damage. All right. Oh, wait a minute. Is that a caster? Because if it's a caster, again, you ignore armor for everything. So no. Korjov is their only caster, so we are going to ignore those there. By the way, I noticed there's some people in the chat. Please feel free to ask any questions if you got them, or make any comments, or certainly if you catch me doing something wrong, let me know, because I do want this to be a educational video for people. All right, so attack the closest enemy minion, and then they're going to spawn a minion. All right, so their normal attack is 2, and then the closest minion, I guess, would be this one. Now, let me see something, because I think I can block that, if I remember correctly. Heal a friendly hero. During hero phase, when a friendly minion adjacent to a pillar would lose hit points, I can prevent them and take that much damage myself. See if I want to do that. I mean, I'm still pretty decent on health, so I might do that. So, going to attack this minion. Going to attack it for 2 plus a flip. 2 plus 0, and I am going to bodyguard that, and I'm just going to take those 2 damage myself. So my minion is staying put. Ha! Akuti, nothing for you. Alright, so Akuti's done. Let's see. Do I try to kill Akuti now? This is my healer. So not necessarily the... Oh! She does... I'm sorry. Akuti does place a minion down. Don't forget that. That was the last part of her card. Alright. So, yeah, I'm not really the attacky type, but there's always a first, right? Let's see. Do I have any good spells for that? Oh, remove pillar and do 2 damage to all adjacent. I could also, actually, I'm probably going to use this to disarm and slow this enemy hero because, yeah, that seems like the best thing to do. I mean, blowing this up would be great, but I'm actually trying to win over here, I think. So maybe I place a pillar here and blow that one up. I got time and decision-making space for that. All right. So I'm going to activate over here again. So she's going to move up. And in fact, she's not going to move. She's just going to do a skirmish. Because a skirmish is just a move for 1 less. It's 2 instead of 3, where you get an attack before or after. So she's going to attack Akuti with, again, it's a 0 plus flip, but who cares? 0 plus 1 is still 1 damage. Akuti has no armor. So, that's 1 closer to death. Why wouldn't I do that? So that is 1. Next, I am going to attack. When I attack, Habarat gets their activation card when I declare the attack on Akuti. But that is still what I'm doing. Well, let's see. Before I do that, do I want to do this? Heal a friendly hero adjacent to the removed pillar for flip plus 1. Well, I don't have anybody adjacent to a pillar, but that would be nice. All right. So now I'm just going to attack first. All right. So I'll flip a card for Habarat. Sorry, I got to go back and forth between 2 programs here, which is why it takes a second. Habarat gains Frenzy. Well, that's not great. If we remember what Frenzy is, it's +2 attack and +2 to skirmish damage. So not what I want to see at all. Thankfully, I've got this thing which disarms. And if you have a disarm and a Frenzy, it just cancels both tokens. So, because you can't have more than one of the same token. So if I could disarm a second time, then I could actually get the -2. But they're just going to cancel each other out in a second. But that doesn't affect this attack. So Akuti's getting attacked. She's getting attacked for my base attack of 2 plus a flip plus 1. That's 3. And that is exactly how much we needed to defeat Akuti. All right, so let's see how defeating an enemy works. Well, first of all, they get removed from the board. They are no longer active, well, right now. Now, they could come back at different times. If they had not activated yet, they would come back at the beginning of round 3, because basically they would have lost this turn's activation. But because Akuti has already activated this turn, they still lose an activation. They just lose next turn's activation. So you mark that by putting their health token one more space away. So Akuti will not come back at the beginning of round 3, instead the beginning of round 4. That's really clever, by the way. So you always only lose one activation, but they do it in a really clever way by determining when it comes back. All right. One less enemy hero for control over here, but we do have to now worry about Habrat attacking and frenzied, so that's awesome. So closest enemy hero. They're both adjacently close. I'm sorry, the same amount of close. He's going to attack Kotlik, though, because Kotlik is more hurt. I don't know that it says that, but I always try to play AI at least a little smart. Before doing anything, though, I am going to do this. Crawling Darkness, disarm and slow. So Habrat right there. I'm going to slow, and we'll look at what slow does in a second. You could probably guess it reduces their speed. Condition slow. The move action is decreased by 2 hexes. So only the move action, though. So a skirmish, for example, would still move you 2. So Habrat gains fast. Okay, we talked about competing conditions. So that just removes this condition right here. And then move towards his focus, which would be the closest hero. He must end adjacent to as many enemy heroes as possible. Well, he's already there. Deal X damage to all adjacent enemies, where X is his attack value. And then he attacks his focus. All right. So X to all adjacent enemies. That includes my minions, by the way, where X is his attack value. So that's 4 damage to all of them. Well, clearly that removes a minion. No. Oh, wait. She didn't do a third action. She's going to lead. I'm sorry. We're just going to lead from the top of the deck. All right. Because she skirmished over to here, then she attacked, and I forgot to do her third one. So the third one would have been a lead to try to make sure I control this. All right. So Kotlik. So 4 damage was done there. 4 damage also gets done to her. Now she has armor of 1, so she only takes 3 damage. Kotlik over here has armor of 2, so he only takes 2 damage. But this is going to be very bad for Kotlik. Kotlik has already gone. Both of these have already gone. But this is going to be bad because he's about to get attacked. Attacked for 4 plus 2 flips. 1, 2. So he had a plus 2 on the first flip. So that's 4 plus 2 is 6 damage minus his 2 armor. Goodbye, Kotlik. We hardly knew you. So Kotlik is also coming around because he's activated in a couple of turns. Wah, wah. If he had had any, you could discard any cards attached to Kotlik now because he's not doing anything. So this lane just got a whole lot cleaner, although I don't like being here with the death machine over here, which is Habrat, which you've seen. He's pretty stinking nasty. All right, but let's start activating some people over here. I'm gonna do Zakol over here. He's gonna move first. 1, 2, 3. That does not get him close enough, unfortunately. Then he's gonna worship to place a pillar down. Now, what's his special for his worship? When Zakol damages an enemy hero with an attack action, he may push that enemy 1 hex. Oh, that's the bottom. Deal 1 damage plus a flip to an enemy minion adjacent to the removed pillar. And again, I don't think these pillars have line of sight or range or any of that. Let me know if I'm wrong. Remove a friendly pillar to trigger the skill with worship next to it. It doesn't say in range. It doesn't say target pillar. It just says friendly pillar. So if I'm not mistaken, I can remove this pillar to do damage over here, and I'm going to do that. So I've already moved. Now I'm taking my worship action. So deal 1+ damage to an enemy minion adjacent to the removed pillar. So I'm going to remove this pillar. I'm going to do 1 damage to, doesn't matter, let's say this one. Plus the flip, +2. So that could have been -1, by the way. That's the only reason I do the flip. I mean, that, and you're supposed to go through your deck. But now I have to place a pillar. I'm going to place this over here. Then, additional cost to remove an adjacent pillar to deal 2 damage to all enemies. So I've moved, so I have to get adjacent to this pillar. I'm going to skirmish my way up. Skirmish, skirmish, skirmish. Now I could move on it. And maybe I do, but yeah, I'll move on it. Why not? All right, I'm going to move on that pillar. And then, so I am done my 3 actions, but I can still play cards. So we're going to do this. Excuse me. Additional cost to remove the pillar, an adjacent pillar. Deal 2 damage to all enemies adjacent to the removed pillar. And again, it's enemies, so this pillar is gone. Cause it's gone. Cause it's gone. But so are their minions. Sorry for the singing. I do like to sing in my streams, if you haven't seen me. Now, I never did an attack action, so neither of these activated. So I'm going to activate the closest. Golbjorn's within 3, so is Korjif. I'm going to just activate Golbjorn because he's kind of toward the back, and so am I. So why not? All right, so my 3 actions are done. We'll activate Golbjorn. Focused. Closest enemy with a lead. Do any of my characters have leads? They do. And he is all the way over here. She is. I don't know that he's going to be able to get there, so it would be closest hero. So move toward it. Attack his focus. If he damages it, the hero discards all lead cards. So he's the nasty get rid of lead card person. 1, 2, 3, because again, he wants to get as close to the lane as possible. I think that's right. Let's come down here and look. If they're attacking characters, oh, it doesn't matter. In range of line of sight of the focus, position to best use their ability, doesn't matter because it's just removing stuff. Within range of the control list. Oh, it just says within range. It doesn't say as close as possible. And then in a cover hex. So I've been doing that a little bit wrong, but that's okay. He's within range. He's in a cover hex. We're good. He's going to attack. His attack is 3, and then I flip a card. 3 plus 3 is 6. Ouch. I got 1 armor. Any spells I can cast? These are all 3 mana, and I don't have any mana left for him. Although you can activate other people if it would do something, but in this case it doesn't. So 6 damage minus 1 is 5. Thankfully we had an 18 healther over here, so down to 13 health. Ow, that hurt. Then they move toward the closest dome and lead. Man, they really want these domes. Do these these Norse characters? The blue characters are the Norse ones. They definitely like their domes. All right, and then Korjif. Oh, no, not Korjif. I get to go now. I definitely need to get in range and then lead. They have no minions left, so 1, 2, 3. We'll do that. We will lead. I'm going to lead one of these from my hands. Oh, so this is a special card. This card belongs specifically to a character. So you notice both of these are 3 mana spells, but this one has a picture of my character, and actually this flip they did a second ago does too. If you notice it in the top middle there is a picture of a character on it. That means only that character can use this card. So it is their signature card. Comatoxin, defeat target enemy hero adjacent to a pillar if they have half or fewer of their starting hit points. Wow. All right. So we're not going to use that one to lead, but we do want to win by as much as possible. I hear Sinkhole is a great card. I don't even know what it is. Place an AoE on the target hex within 2 hexes. You may move each hero hit 1 hex. These heroes must end any movements effect in the AoE. So you can move them 1 space within the AoE. The reason that's so powerful is, again, if they're on the dome edge or something else, you can move them in or out of the dome, or if they're 3 spaces away, you can move them a 4th space away. So it's powerful for that, but you know what? In this situation, I want to lead as much as possible, and I'm trying to, just blast it down here. Yeah, he already went too. All right, so excuse me, this is my last activation. By the way, I haven't exhausted any of their characters for some reason. Golbjorn definitely already went, so Korjif is their last one. So so what have I done? I've moved, I've led. I do have one more action. There's not much I can do here. I guess I will skirmish. Oh no, I'll worship. Of course I'll worship. What is my worship ability over here? Deal 1 damage to an enemy hero adjacent to the removed pillar. Do I have any pillars? Well, I don't even have any pillars on the board, so I'm just getting pillars on the board to kind of help me out. Put it within 3. There you go. It's within 3 of both of us. That'll kind of, well, let's put it over here. That way, hopefully they don't just come and blow it up, because these things only have 1 hit point. Now, I don't think they have AI that targets pillars or whatever specifically, but it's still something I would prefer not to have happen. And actually, that wouldn't be a bad priority thing for them to put in the AI if they are going to change it up. It could be, you know, attack target, fallback closest hero, second fallback target pillars and whatever, third fallback minions. I mean, they could just add that as a priority there if they really wanted to make these more destructible. But anyway, not a design day. It's Korjof's turn. Let's see what Korjof does. All right, so its focus is the weakest lane. And again, because I didn't attack, they never did this reaction and never activated during my turn. All right, Korjif gains fast, moves towards the focus, which is the weakest lane. And again, the weakest lane for them is the one closest to their base. So definitely the one we're near. Deal 1 damage to the closest enemy in Korjof's line of sight. And then lead. So they're going to get fast. It's not really necessary. They want to get in range. They want to get in cover. And then they're going to do 1 to the closest enemy. So I guess that's here, but that doesn't make sense. They're going to attack the minion. Because it's a lane, they're going to do the specified target. The specified target in a lane, well, that's the fallback is the minion, but I feel like they want to attack a minion here. Oh, let's see. Yes, move as close as possible to the token. No, don't. Yeah, I feel like they would want to attack the minion here, because honestly, attacking here for 1 damage does literally nothing. So I'm going to be nice to them, and I'm going to remove one of my minions. I don't think that's technically what you're supposed to do. Closest enemy. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that would have been me there, but nah, we're going to be mean to ourselves and do that. And then they lead. Yeah, and enemies don't lead intelligently in this game, and again, that's why there are ways to scale the difficulties harder. This is literally easy mode we're playing right now. This is the easiest way to play. There are definitely ways to make it harder. Well, I say it's the easiest way to play. You can actually make them a deck with all like 1 mana cards and like no high flips. Now, it typically doesn't work that way. They're usually the opposite. Like 1 mana is a 2 or 3 attack, 2 mana is a 1+1 attack. So it's usually the opposite. The only exceptions to that, of course, are these signature cards. But you can just take out all the signature cards or whatever else. So you can definitely make it a little bit easier by making all their stuff worse. But for the most part, this is going to be the easy mode. And then if you look in the back of the rules, they have hard mode, which all lanes, they spawn an extra minion. Or Nightmare is 2 extra minions. Another ways to tweak it is you can mess with their deck, or you can add an extra hero. You can actually play against 5 heroes, or even 6. Crazy. So they would just get to keep activating after you're completely done. So yeah, there are definitely ways to make the game harder. But let's go back to this AI chart over here. All right, so they are done. So we're going to between phase the minion phase. So we're just going to look at the different domes. Let's look at this one. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 characters that are 1. So I'm +4. Korjof did lead. Only a 1 though, so I'm +3. And I'm pretty sure I led. And I led a 3. Alright, so I'm +3. So again, I'm 3, 4, 5 +3 is 8 to their 2. 1, 2. 8 to 2. I destroy all of these, because I won by 8. And let's see, because they don't have any minions. They would have destroyed the minions first. then the tower. Let's see, do I just keep going and take 3 away from their base? Their nexus? That might be the case. In which case, boom, boom, boom. Where am I looking for? Minion phase. The winner applies damage, first to the enemy minions, then any surplus is dealt to towers within 3 hexes. Now, the nexus is on the back line here, so that is within 3 hexes. So I'm not sure. Let me look at the update. You might not be able to damage a tower and the nexus on the same turn. Updated rules. If anybody knows the answer, please let me know so I don't have to look it up. Minion movement. Skirmish action. Outsiders. Minion move. Wider nexus deployment. After destroying a tower, they don't have to. You know what? I don't know the answer to this. If somebody knows, again, let me know. I'm going to say it can't spill over. So I killed the tower. That's all the damage I can do. I did have 3 extra damage, so potentially it could spill over. But it would move closer. This time I am going to have it move closer, because the Nexus row is this back row here, plus this. So it's all along this back row. So I'm getting it all the way to the back row, which would move these minions adjacent. Badink. And badink. Actually, I'm not sure if I'm allowed to be on this space, but somebody could tell me if I'm wrong there too. I'm not sure about that one. All right. So now I need to, I need to draw a card because I won control. And then I need to spawn 2 of my little stone dudes. We have to do one here because, again, you have to go as close as possible. And then we'll go in the bush over here. They spawn 2. Again, sorry about the coughing. 1, 2. Yeah, they'll stay back. All right. That's that lane. Let's look at this lane. All right. So they have 1, 2, 3 here to my 3. 1 each as far as heroes go. So did they lead? They did not lead. Did I lead? I did lead. I led randomly from the top of the deck. I remember now. I only led a 1. So first things first, I defeat 1 of their minions. Then, well, first things first, I draw a card, which is very nice. Then we're going to move this 1 back toward the middle. Guess what? Right back where it started. This is the lane of back and forthing. I'm going to put mine back here. Back here on nearer to their side. They're going to put 1. Of course, they have to go on. And where else are they going to go? Does not really matter. They don't want to block things up too much. They want to be as far away from my heroes as possible. So let's go back there. All right. So that is that. So that is that lane. Guess what? They won the dome. Again, this lead card wasted because I wasn't even contesting it. So let's see what the outsider does. Dun dun dun. So special, place the outsider within 3 of his focus and as many enemies as possible. Strongest lane is focused. So he wants to, again, go toward his strongest lane, which is the lane he is winning. Place the outsider as many other enemies as possible. He attacks his focus and then push the closest enemy hero in outsider's line of sight 2 hexes away from him and then deal 2 piercing damage to them. All right, let's do it one at a time. He's going to attack his focus, which for a lane, strongest lane. All right, let's see how this works. Maybe I was right. Maybe it was the minion. Line of sight, move as close as possible to the token, move as close as possible. All right, so attacks and specials. Resolve effects in specified order. Fall back to closest or against the specified target. Well, you can't attack the lane itself, right? So that doesn't make sense. So he's going to fall back to the closest minion. So maybe I did do that right before, because minions before heroes. So he's going to attack one of my minions. He'll attack the closest minion, which is this one, attacking for +2 damage, which will definitely kill a minion. Then push the closest enemy hero in outsider's line of sight 2 hexes away from him and deal 2 piercing damage to them. Ah, that's what that was. So, can't really go any further. 2 away. That's 2 further away, I think. Again, you could go through your minions, just not through heroes. And then 2 damage over here. 1, 2. All right, so that's the outsider activated. Now we are 2. Hopefully, what's the last round? Because I got pretty big control advantage over here. And we're going to try to make it even better by killing Kordjov over here. Who's full health? But full health for Kordjov's only 14. So there's that. Oh, did I take armor away when Kordjov was attacking? I definitely should not have. Oh, he attacked the minion. That's right. Didn't attack the hero. Got to keep that in mind, though. That's one of the rules that I often forget is, these mages with the fire on the bottom, they do not use armor. And that's it when they cast spells or anything. Doesn't matter. All right, so end of round. Discard all power cards from their hero cards. So, ba-dink, 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 ba-dink. Then we are going to draw 2 cards. Well, there's only 1, so then we're going to shuffle it up. Ba-dink, 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 ba-dink. Draw the card. Now, normally you would have your own deck. The opponent would have their own deck. I'm playing with the variant where you use the same deck. I just find it easier. But again, I do find it a little more swingy as well. So I drew 2 new cards. Discard until you are down to 7 or less. Again, I think that's 8 or less. I think that's a misprint. Ready all exhausted heroes and increase the Skytear token. All right, so ready all heroes. Bink, 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 bink. And then move this down. Now, if this had hit one of our characters, we would have respawned them. And that's not on here how to do it, but it's in the rules, and I will look that up when we get to the point where we need to respawn. I mean, you really just put them on your tower line, and that's it. All right. But I'm hoping this is the last turn, because again, if we win by 5 here, then it's game over time. So if I kill Kordjov over here, it's game over. So I'm going to go Akla first, because Akla is my more damager, because he has 2 flip. Let's see. Oh, and I can use 3 cost spells. Oh! Akla's special is to kill somebody if they're half dead. So if I can get it down to 7, I can just kill him outright. Defeat target enemy hero adjacent to a pillar. All right, you know what? Because I am trying to do that, I'm going to go with Zokal instead, who does have red, frenzy and fast, or place the caster on a hex within 2 hexes, then deal damage equal to the caster's attack to an adjacent enemy hero. Place caster on a hex within 2 hexes, then deal damage equal to the caster's attack to adjacent. Oh, so you move next to him. You know what? Forget that noise. We're doing fast. We're doing unstoppable. Because let's be honest, Zokal is unstoppable. You know what? But he wants to push them out of the zone. All right, I'm gonna gamble here a bit that I can do this coma toxin this turn. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to skirmish. I'm going to move 1 spot and attack. So +1. That is not great. So now I need to do 6, which is the most possible damage on this attack to get it to half life. But I'm going to do it. I'm going to attack. So Kordjov does activate. And then hopefully Kordjov doesn't do anything crazy either. Place this card face up in the attacking hero. Place a card face up on the attacking hero from their own deck. No! Alright, so you look at your deck, you take a card, put it face up on your hero. All that does is it adds the mana. So it's like a mana burn or something. So now I can't cast 3 cost spells, even though I'm in round 3. Most I could cast is a 2 cost spell. So let's see what this is. The attacker gets +2 attack. Damage dealt by the attacker's attack gains piercing. So we're just going to do that. That's another 2. So now I've spent a total of quote-unquote 3 mana. So I'm going to finish up my attack. Since I can't do my coma toxin, which is painful. But I am +2 attack, so I'm attacking for 5 now with 2 flips. Oops. If I don't get a +3, it wouldn't have mattered anyway. And actually, it would be better off. Oh, there's a +3! No! So 5 + 3 is 8 damage. I don't believe there's any armor. Nope. So that is 8 more damage. 13 goes down to 5. And then I get 2 damage to an adjacent. Oh no, I'm going to lead. Because again, I'm trying to, and you know what? I don't think I'm going to get this coma toxin off. If I win here, then there's no need for the coma toxin. So I'm going to go ahead and use that as my lead card. Because 3 mana is good for a lead. Alright, let's do Korjov real quick. Move toward his focus. So closest enemy hero. Deal 3 damage to his focus and apply slow. So move toward focus, doesn't need to do that. Already within range, already in cover. So none of that happens. Deal 3 damage and apply slow. Well, it's only 2 because of my armor. Oh no! Again, it is 3 because he is a spellcaster. And spellcasters don't care about armor. Alright. Attack his focus and then move toward the closest dome control token. Alright. So I am now going to attack here and then move toward the dome. So we attack for 3 plus a flip. The flip is -1. Nice. So that's only 2 damage. Does ignore my armor, but still doing all right. And then Scaredy Cat moves toward the dome. All right. Well, yeah, as you can see in this situation, it's not very smart. They are literally plugging up the dome when I'm about to win the game here. So yeah, there's that. Sometimes stuff like that happens. No, I'm not gonna do him next. We'll do the battle down here. Let's see. Frenzy and fast, or place the caster adjacent and do 2 damage. I mean, it doesn't really matter. There's no way I'm killing Habrat this turn. So maybe I just fight for control of the lane here. Yep. All right. So I'm going to put this as my lead card. So we'll start with the lead. Then we will... you've already acted. So we've done a lead. We will do an attack. We'll just attack this minion here. Now, Habrat does intervene. So let's see what happens. Hopefully he doesn't just kill me. Ambush. Habrat gains Frenzy. That's real bad. Yep. Real bad. Target enemy gets -2 armor. Well, that's doesn't matter at all. Her thing is she could heal somebody, but there's not really anybody that needs healing. Well, let's see what it says. Heal a friendly hero adjacent to the removed pillar. All right. So she's gonna attack this one. We already said it. She attacks for 2 plus a +2 flip. So I'm not attacking my own, obviously. This one is fine. Move as far away as possible. 1, 2, yeah, as far away as possible. She's still within 3 of the control zone, but I do not want to be near Habrat, not even close. So when Habrat activates, which he's about to, so move towards his focus, place a card face up on his focus from the top of their deck. Habrat gets +1 attack for each mana spent by the focus. And then attack his focus and lead. Okay. Here's the thing. Can't reach the target. So he changes his target to the closest minion, if I'm not mistaken. He wants to be in cover, all that stuff. He's going to attack for 100 million, but it doesn't really matter. +1, that just goes away. Pretty sure that's how it works, because again, he had to fall back because he couldn't reach his target. So he falls back to the closest hero. There weren't any. Otherwise minion. So thankfully for us, he attacks, and he is going to lead though at the end of the round. So who knows how that's going to work out for us. Alright, Habrat's done. Frenzy done. That could have been way worse, but I chickened out, which I believe is the right call in that situation. Korjov's done also, so we just have the Big Bear and Zokal. I mean, just for fun, I'm going to try to kill over here. So I'm going to move 2 into the dome. I am going to attack. I'm sorry. I'm skirmishing in. Oh, yeah, because I'm slow, so I couldn't move in anyway. When Zokal damages an enemy hero. Why am I slow still? I don't know. Oh, somebody applied slow to me last turn, I guess. When Zokal damages an enemy hero with an attack, he may push him 1 hex, but there are no pillars there. Deal +1 damage to enemy minion adjacent to a pillar and remove it. So I could do that to... Well, I don't even have pillars. So never mind. Alright, so we're skirmishing in. So it's a 0+ flip. Wait. Frenzy and fast. Yeah, let's do that. So that gets rid of my slow. And now I am frenzied also. So it's +2 to my my attack here. Now, Golbjorn is within a couple spaces, so I do have to flip his card and see what the reaction is. Heal the target of the attack to full hit points. What? Really? Alright. So Korjev just went from nothing to 14 hit points. That's no bueno. Alright, so I'm attacking for 4. Oh, that wasn't an attack. I'm sorry. That was not an attack. I will be attacking in a minute, so it'll probably even be worse for me. Where was this? I don't remember where this was. 6 hit points, 4 hit points. I don't know. Anybody who remembers, let me know, please. All right. So I am just flipping for an attack. I don't think it was enough to kill. It won't be enough to kill anyway. So +2, 0 +2. Let's just say it was there. Doesn't matter. Now I declare an attack. Oh, it's +4. So I would have done 4 damage. He might have been dead. If he was at 4 health or less, he's dead on that attack. I can't remember. I think he was at 4 or less. I mean, I could rewind it. Let's see. Actually, I'm going to go back on the video evidence here. See where we were. Okay. He was at 5 health. Oh, are you kidding me? 5 health. So down to 1. And then, guess what? When I attack, it goes all the way to full health. Which is great. Let me tell you how much I love that. Not at all. 0. But I do get +2, so I'm 5 attack. +2, so that's total of 7. So from 14 down to 7. Yeah, that was a shame. Alright, so now Golbjorn goes. Let's see what he does. Alright, remove all conditions from Golbjorn. He gains fast and frenzy. And he's looking for the most wounded enemy. That might not be good for me. I feel like that's never going to be good. Fast and frenzy and most wounded. Most wounded is this one over here who is trying to hide in the corner. Golbjorn says, oh no, because he now moves 5. Yep. Golbjorn runs up. Oh my gosh. Oh, I forgot a very special, very important rule. Thank you, Daniel. I appreciate it. I forgot a very important rule from earlier. And I messed this up, so I'm sorry, and there's no real way to go back for it. When an enemy defeats one of your heroes, which they did a while ago, that enemy gets to activate a second time, back to back. Now, there is literally no way I can go back. That damage was done over here somewhere anyway. I'm sure it was Habarat that did the damage. I apologize, everybody. I will do it here if Golbjorn ends up killing. Maybe I'll do it here for Golbjorn anyway. Yeah, I totally messed that up. So he attacks his focus. He moves toward his focus. He attacks his focus. So he attacks for 5. 3 + 2 for the frenzy. Plus a flip. +1. So that's a total of 6 damage. I do have armor, I believe. Yep, I have 1 armor. So 6. So that's 5 damage done. Puts me from 7 down to 2. Let's see. What else does Golbjorn do? Special. If Golbjorn moves 2 hexes toward his focus, and if adjacent, deal 4 damage to them. So 4 minus the 1. Yep, you are dead. And because I've already activated, it goes 2 out. And I take this off. Not going to forget this time, although it might be too little too late for them. Already activated. This goes away. Don't need this anymore. He's already activated as well. Oh, and when he exhausts, he loses all tokens. All right. So Golbjorn gets to activate a second time, because after they kill an enemy, they activate again. We get a totally new card, Bodyguard. Focus closest lane, move toward focus, lead. All right, so moving toward the lane as close as possible, but while in cover. We're going to lead next. So Golbjorn gets to lead. Oh, are these lead cards from last time? I think they might be. I never cleaned up their stuff at the end of the last round. So Golbjorn is leading. And then, move toward closest enemy minion in this lane and attack an adjacent enemy minion. All right. So they're going to move toward this minion. They're going to attack this minion. Pretty sure they're going to kill this minion. Sure are. +0. His normal attack is 3, and he's frenzied, so he's way overkills. 5 destroys. So that is the end of that round, and I think it's going to be the end of the game because nobody's contesting us here, really. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we always do 1 first, right? And as soon as the game's over, the game's over. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, plus my lead, which is 3 more, 7, 8, 9 to their 2. So I win by 9 to 2. That's 7. So 1, 2. Oh wow, barely. 2 plus the 5 more. That is exactly 7. And that's how it goes. That is the game. So I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something from this. The game would keep going. We'd go to 2, then 3. So fighting over 1 is clearly, obviously, a very good way to go. It was unlucky for them that both of their guys who are at 1 were just so focused on the dome. So again, there are things you can do to make the game a little harder. I could have put those heroes on the other side, so they would have had a chance to win on this side, or win on this side before I even got to the other side. I could have added a 5th hero for them. I could have made their deck way better. There are definitely things you can do to vary the difficulty. I just wanted to use core set heroes. Now I didn't just use core set cards, but if you go to PvP Geek's Skytear website, they have exactly how to build decks if you want, or you just do it by color. Take all the green cards if you're going to play green, some of the neutral cards too, so you can figure it out. But they do also have like pre-constructed decks, or you come to this website here and you could do decks here, or they have website, they have a deck builder app too that'll have stuff for you to be able to build. So there's lots of options for you to build stuff, or again, if you don't own the game yet, just come on to Tabletop Simulator. This is a fully supported by the publisher mod that you can play on Tabletop Simulator. So give it a try yourself. Play either against the mod or other players. Now, when you're playing against other players, the big difference is you're going to have goals in addition to trying to defeat the Nexus. So you might win the lead of a control token 6 times. So that includes the dome as well. So if you win the lead 6 times, defeat 3 enemy heroes, or destroy the enemy tower on your left lane, so I would have won the turn before if that was the case. These are different each time. They have, breach right, whatever else, instead of breach left. They have defeat the outsider, so you can attack the outsider. There's lots of different things that they have as far as options for the competitive game. But for the solo game, we don't use those. We're literally just trying to destroy their tower before 5 turns run out, or before they destroy either of your towers. I'm sorry, you're trying to destroy their Nexus before 5 turns, or they destroy either one of your towers. So that was Skytear Solo. If you have any questions or comments, leave them in the show notes. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I will see you soon. Bye!